Hi, I'm Robert Gomez with the Midland Run Crew, and I'm excited to be on the Catwalk.
The Catwalk is proud to partner with Second Story Co-working in downtown Midland. Second Story Co-working provides fully furnished offices, open workspace, and multiple conference rooms. Connect with like-minded business leaders and find out how you belong here. Visit today at secondstory.co. Invite people into your story. Good storytelling can set you apart. Let us transform your story at thecatwalkmediagroup.com. Well, welcome everyone to another edition of the Catwalk. I am your host, Jay Whitlow, and I'm always joined by my good friend Chris over on the controls. And today we want to give a big shout out and welcome into the Second Story studio, Midland Run Crew's Robert Gomez. Welcome to the Catwalk.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I am so excited that you're here. I've got a lot of questions about running.
Okay, I hope
and the Run
I can
Crew.
answer them
So
all. Yeah.
Before we kind of get to know a little bit about you and your story and how you got to the Run Crew, I need some help.
Okay.
Okay. So, if I was to join the Run Crew,
Yes.
what type of shoe do you recommend a runner of my stature use? Right? What do you recommend?
As a beginner runner,
Yeah, let's go with maybe a walker.
a walker, you know,
I might bring my walker too, but yeah.
honestly, I think a good go-to shoe, it would be anything really Hoka because the cushion is so great. It's an everyday shoe. A lot of nurses use it, people that stand on their feet. So I think it's a really great entry shoe for you. And then plus, it's not something that you really have to overthink about it. You just find a shoe that best fits you and then just go for it.
Do you have a go-to shoe that you like and you prefer?
You know, it goes through the seasons, but I really enjoy the Saucony Endorphin Speeds, especially for either like all day or even race day type shoe. It's just such a good shoe, and then there's just so many different variances of it that I really love.
Okay. Do you have, so if I'm joining the Run Crew, do you have a post or pre-run snack that you would recommend to me?
Post or pre-run, we always kind of recommend some kind of carbohydrate, maybe even like a small bowl of oatmeal, maybe even like some fruit to start off your morning, just so that way you have some fuel to kind of fuel you along throughout your long run for that morning.
So you can see where I'm going with this. I'm
Yes.
I'm really kind of considering getting out. I have some friends
Okay.
who are in the Run Crew. In fact, we have one mutual friend,
Yes.
Artist King.
Yeah, we
would
love
you,
him.
Would you agree that he's the slowest runner?
You know, in some instances he is, but yeah, he definitely can hold his own for
Awesome,
sure.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I have thought about running and
Yeah.
being a part of it. Do you have a go-to song that kind of pumps you up before you run?
You know, anything like Eminem really goes well just because the beats are so good. It gets you on rhythm. So I think anything Eminem is really, really good. I think it's the one with the spaghetti on my shirt. You know, really.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. It's just a good anthem to go and run to. Yeah.
When you said Eminem, I got real excited because I thought maybe you have M&Ms.
Yeah.
At-
well,
at-
and I actually
when you
they're-
run.
they're actually. I mean, it's good for like your aid stations or snacks or something like that, just to kind of give you a quick boost. 'Cause I usually do those like during the trail runs. I love
Okay.
eating M&Ms. Yeah.
All right, now that's something that I want to talk about because I've heard
Mm-hmm.
that you have created an opportunity for companies to partner with you at the water stations.
Yes.
Right, and I know we're going to get into Run Crew and all that later, but tell me about how a company can get involved in sponsoring a water station.
Well, actually, that's pretty simple. A lot of it's been word of mouth, but it's as simple as like just shooting us an email and just letting us know, hey, we really would love to sponsor your water aid station. For one, it helps us because we don't have to man that aid station. They provide all the waters and their table and everything else, so it kind of really helps us. But in turn, it helps them because we help promote their small business or company or things like that. They usually send us a logo, and then we kind of send that out and post up on it on our social media to give them recognition and appreciation for them helping us out. So it's really simple. Sometimes it could be just, hey, Robert, this guy wants to be on your next aid station and help out, and just shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and we're pretty easy to get a hold of.
Now, is a water station, is it the only station out there? I mean, do you have fruit? Do you have other stations? Do you have a Chick-fil-A station for runners like me, or?
No, so like during the summer times, we might have two water aid stations,
Okay.
but typically it's one right there at midway point, about 1.5 miles, and then from there, like I said, they'll bring Gatorade, they'll bring Element T. I mean, you name it, you make it what you want. So if you were to come out there and just wanted to do an aid station, you bring your noisemakers, you're cheering on the runners. So if you ever been to a run event, that's kind of the way it's set up, and you bring your music. I mean, you make it how you want. Really, the main point of it is just to water our runners, and that way they have
Right.
some kind of point for hydration.
Now you said you could. There's music coming. There's you got your noisemakers. I'm
Yes.
assuming there's a defibrillator there for guys like me.
If we have the nurses there that week, it's a good possibility.
Well, and you said that I should get the shoes like the nurses wear because
Exactly.
that would probably
There's a common
help with
theme
my
going there.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
something
common
there.
theme going on there.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I want to get to know a little bit about you. I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk a little bit more about the Run Crew later, but kind of let our viewers, listeners who may not know who you are,
Yeah.
know a little bit about you. So, tell me kind of your personal background. Tell me where you're from.
Okay.
Kind of walk me through growing up.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm born and raised here, Midland, Texas. Had my mom, my dad. I had my one brother, Nathan, and had my wife, 4 kids. And so I just went through Midland High, graduated class of '98. Just a typical, young kid here. Always wanted to get away. Didn't think Midland was ever enough. And I went away for a few times right out of high school. Lived in Tucson with my aunt. Then came back, and then moved out to Austin and came back. There's always like something with West Texas. It always brings you back. But growing up, I was just that regular, everyday type of kid. I was in sports, but I wasn't really in track or running, which would be kind of crazy. Guy that runs the Run Crew would, probably was in that. And no, but I always just wanted to do something active. So whether it was football, basketball, never really got into baseball, but tennis. So anything that's really active is where I kind of grew up doing. And then it was always the weekends with my family. We had a goal up front, so we always just had the cousins around. Yeah. So
So you're from Midland, and you've moved away a couple times,
Yeah.
as you mentioned. How do you see Midland today compared to when you were a teenager and a child? What does Midland do well?
You know what? I think what Midland does well now is that there's more to offer now. Centennial Park has just opened up, and then just an array of different events that it seems like there's always something every single weekend. And I mentioned that I used to, I moved away and I was in Austin, and that's what we saw. Even in Tucson, there was always events, and I think that's something that Midland is starting to do really well is provide some of those opportunities for young families, because I think our demographic is a lot younger now, and so keeping people here and having some things to do, and I think that's essentially what West Texas does in general. Everyone's welcoming. There's always something to do. But I think Midland has really harnessed that and supported people who do that and offer those types of events.
Well, I'm going to assume the Midland Run Crew is not like your day job. You probably have another job. Where are you working in Midland right now?
So I'm in the gas compression, the oil field, kind of like everyone else, Originally I started off when I did move away and I came back. I went to school because I wanted to be a chef. So I went to culinary school. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, when I came back and it wasn't all that was paid to be, that's how I got into oil and gas. An opportunity came up, and, I worked the rigs, on the floor hand, backup tones. I mean, you name it. I pretty much did it just so I can provide for my family. And that's pretty much like my whole day job. But now it got me into that gas compression field, which is everywhere. And which I started off as a mechanic initially. But then I also started building up and then got into sales, and from sales support, and it kept going there to a regional sales manager. So that's what's given me that flexibility to kind of continue to do what I do. Because I get that question a lot, actually. They're like, Robert, is this your full-time job? Yeah, I do work, but this is just more my heart and my passion.
I would have thought that. I would have thought, well, Run Crew is probably what he does full time,
Yes.
and then I was told no. It's not, but wait, you mentioned culinary.
Yeah.
So, did you go to culinary school, or was that just, where did you attend?
Le Cordon Bleu there in Austin.
Really?
I did, yeah.
What was your specialty?
Oh, man, my specialty was grilling. On the grill. I could pretty much cook a steak by touch, and that's what they taught you, just go by touch and feel.
Wait,
So,
wait.
so
Okay, help
yeah.
me out here. Cook a steak by touch.
By touch, yeah.
So you could feel it and know if it's medium well, raw,
Exactly.
rare, or whatever. So
Yeah.
how do you like your steaks?
I like my medium to mid rare.
Okay,
This
so
will
that
be-
would be just like a
Yeah, so
soft
you would
touch.
actually have a little. So this will be a rare, mid rare, well done, and well. The tougher it gets, the tougher your meat is.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
one
so
of those
my,
little
my
tricks.
son's going through all of this right now. He
Okay.
goes to tech.
Yeah,
So I need to tell him that because he's never told me about touching it,
yeah,
touching the steak and determine because I'm a medium well with the heavy on the well,
yeah.
and he's kill it right out of the cow and throw it on a
And throw
plate.
it on a plate. Yeah.
Right, and so there's probably no touching that, right?
No,
It's
it's just put your little diamond grill marks, and you're good to go.
You just go for it. So
Yeah.
so what happened to culinary? Did it just it didn't give you what you wanted, or the
No.
door just got shut? Walk me through a little bit more about that.
So with culinary, it was more. Again, it was hard. I grew up watching the Food Network, Chef Remo Lagasse, and he did the BAM, and I just thought it was such a cool thing. And my sights were like, I'm going to own my own restaurant, and eventually my kids will work through that restaurant, know the value of $1. And then when I came back, I was making more money at the Chili's than what I was going to be making down here at the Hilton. And so that was kind of really, honestly, the money was the deciding factor. But I still love it. I still do it. During the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'm always the go-to guy to go and cook the meal. And so, but I enjoy it. I think it's just that opportunity to present something to someone, and they taste it, and then they get it, and they love it, and I'm like, okay, I did my job.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're the go-to guy at Thanksgiving and
Yes.
Christmas and everything to
Yes.
cook.
Yeah.
And your specialty is this
The steak.
steak.
The one that I really did well was beef Wellington. That was one of the
Really?
That was one of the the test outs that we had to do in culinary school.
Yeah.
And man, I rocked it out the ballpark. I cooked it just right. I seared the meat just right. Did my duck cell of mushrooms, and it
Okay,
was
I'm
just,
extremely hungry right now.
I know, me too, me too.
Like, do we have any food here?
I know.
Okay. All right. So before we get back onto the running
Yes.
part, are you that guy who at a restaurant when they bring out the steak, you can immediately tell if it's not cooked well, and you're like, "Hey, send this back because I'm a culinary guy. I know." Or do you view restaurants differently than say maybe an average person like myself who's not been to culinary school?
Initially I did, but then I did the flip side of it, right? I did the flip side and said, you know what? Even if it's not to my liking, I know they took their time and did their best, and so I didn't want to criticize that for that. But initially I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I did, and it's supposed to be a certain way, expected a certain way. But then I got into my mindset, like, that's not really important. The experience is what's important. And so when I just had a good dining experience, it doesn't matter. Even if it was well done, there's always steak sauce.
Yeah, there's always steak.
There's always steak sauce.
All right, so culinary didn't stay in that very long. You jumped right into oil and gas compression. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, sir.
And so you're doing that, and then was there already a Midland Run Crew? Was there already an association or a group, or did you start this?
No, so yes, so I actually started it and founded it in 2016. Funny story though, it started off originally as a men's running club, and so it was actually called Stonegate Men's Running Club. That's where I attend church at Stonegate, and so I was going through my running journey from 2013, which was my very first 5K, by the way, and
Nice.
yeah, and so from there I wanted to find a group to run with. When I got my first 5K, like I did everything solo, all by myself, and did like couch to 5K training, earned a medal, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, so exciting. I put my mind to something and I achieved it. But I was like, well, how do I plant myself into a group to help me get better and stronger and faster? And there was groups around locally, and I couldn't ever get at that time to that caliber, to that level. And so I was like, you know what? I think I want to start something on my own. And so I went one Sunday morning, and I thought it was like God sent. I go walk in, and then there's a sign that says Run Club. I'm like, oh, this is the sign I'm looking for. Thank you, God. And I walk up there, and I said, hey, how do we sign up for this Run Club? He goes, oh, well, I'm sorry. This is for women only. I'm like, Okay, so where's the men's club? Well, we don't have one. I said, well, how do we start one? And then that's what started the conversation. So I said, they pointed me in the right direction, who to talk to. And then that was the inception. We started Stonegate Men's Running Club, and it was just myself, my brother, and Marco Hoyos, and it was just the three of us. Well, then it started evolving. It started going where, hey, can my girlfriend come? Can my wife come? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're just out running and, putting in miles. And soon enough, it was just like, okay, people just started showing up. So then we changed that. So it's been through a couple of different transitions. We changed that to Stonegate Running Club. But then we started growing again, and it just more people started showing up. And then I had the great idea of, well, let's encompass everyone, Odessa and Andrews, Monahans, all the surrounding companies or surrounding cities. And so then I was like, well, how about 432? So then we became the 432 Run Crew late 2008, no, 2000, yeah, 18, and then to 2019. But then that's whenever 2019 Tall City came up, and we're like, man, we got to do a beer run here. And then right about that time, it went to 2020 when everything started shutting down, right?
Right.
But then everyone else started popping up their own run clubs. Andrews had one, Odessa had one, Monahans had one. So I said, well, I guess that's kind of out of the picture. So why don't we scoot it back, rethink about it, and let's just make it, for Midland.
Yeah.
And so that's how we came up with Midland Run Crew.
So originally it was it was Stonegate,
Yes.
and there wasn't a it wasn't a men's. It was just women.
It's all women, yeah.
So I want to hang on that for a second. Do you
Okay.
think, as a person who attends church, I'm assuming a believer, Christ follower, does running in a group of men, is that part of therapy? Is that part of discipleship? Is that part of kind of bringing some men together that maybe are from different socioeconomic backgrounds or maybe different places of employment, and it brings them together?
Yes, I think, and that's what I love about running. And even like you were saying with the men's running group, it was more just we're not out there just running. We're doing life together. So it is some fellowship, it's some community. At times it gets personal, and it's someone that we share time with, sometimes an hour or 2 hours at a time, that we can actually connect with somebody. And for one reason or the other, that they wanted to join that run for that day, I think God instrumentally put them there that day, whether to just listen or to strike up that conversation. So whether it be an all men's group or a co-ed group, we tend to run into that quite a bit, and myself included. I mean, I'm very blessed to make some great connections with people that feel I feel honored that they even allow me to be a part of their personal life in some of those situations.
Wow, yeah, because it's cool that you're at that point meeting that spiritual need, but also that physical need, connection,
Yes.
and then running and being healthy, and then you move that into 432 Run Crew, which sounds like a rap group,
Yes, I know.
right?
Yes.
Run DMC, and then you got the 432, and other communities started. I guess the pandemic brought
Yes,
that
sir.
in, you said, and so you dropped the 432. Was there a branding on the 432? Was that logoed or
Yes.
anything? Is it out there for people to find?
It's still out there. It's still out there. If you're like one of the original, they probably still have the T-shirts that we had. We had a little running guy with it and 432, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty catchy. A lot of people loved it, and actually, we've been getting a lot of response here lately to bring him back. It's our infamous running man, and so he doesn't have a name, but maybe pretty soon he will.
Can you do the Running Man? You know that
can.
dance? You can do
I-
that.
I could
We
do
don't have time to actually
Yeah.
show that right now.
Maybe next time I
Yeah,
will.
next time.
Yeah.
When you come back.
Yes.
Okay, so you moved it to Midland Run Crew. Very, I guess, the generic name for the city.
Correct.
The Run Crew. So I'm going to ask a question as if I don't know that backstory. Why does Midland need a run crew?
Why does Midland need a run crew? Honestly, I think it's more the community of it. I think what I hope that we do well is that we try to be all inclusive, from when you first start running to maybe you've been doing this for a long time, right? There's no discrimination. We want to meet you where you're at and take you where you want to go. And so if you're starting and you want to get to your first 5K, let us be that group for you. If you want a group to have maintenance miles and just run with a group of people to just have that sense of community, then that's who we are. But if you also want to achieve greater things, 10Ks, we have a lot of ultra marathoners, triathletes. I mean, you name it, the gamet's so huge, but it's really up to your goals and not ours. So we just want to kind of harness and be that support for that, and not necessarily our goals or our agenda. So I think that's the reason why it's so important, because for me, running is just a great analogy of life, you know, because it is going to get hard. It's not going to be easy, just like life is. And so you're going to have your ups. You're going to have your moments where you have your runner's high, and that's how life feels sometimes. Like I got a runner's high, and then it's going to bring you down. But how you progress and push through there, that's what makes you a better person in life, and there's better situations that you can get faced with on a daily basis. Yeah.
Do you have some people who, like, say, if I join and got involved and I'm lagging behind, I'm wanting to give up.
Yes.
What's that encouragement that you give a newbie, a
Yes.
fresh runner, to stay at it? Because I think your talk there about it being like life is
Yes.
great, and I appreciate that, and that opens up a lot about who you are.
Yes.
But what encouragement would you give me if you saw me really kind of giving up, lacking, lazy, or just struggling? What would that encouragement look like?
I guess that encouragement for me to you would be more just stay consistent, right? Not every run's going to be a great run. Not every run's going to be a long run, but you got to keep at it. You got to keep doing it. I mean, you can't just stop because it got hard, you know, because it is going to get hard. So I would tell you, just keep at it. You know, don't worry about the mileage. You know, worry about the time. You know, don't go out and try to do your first 5K the first run, right? Maybe set a goal like I want to run, 3 minutes without stopping or 10 minutes straight, whatever your goals are or whatever you can do. That's what I would encourage you to do. Don't go off and try to hit the Olympics right away, but just, bite off a little bit as you can do. Then you build on top of that. Other than that, it's going to be too daunting for you, for anyone to try to tackle something that big.
Have you had anybody do that, like show up and be like, I'm Mr. Olympian, and halfway through they're like toast and
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few of those, and
they're gassed?
they're gassed,
Mile one.
But you know what's so funny? It's also even some of the newbies too, right? Because they don't know how to pace themselves, things like that. So they want to go out first mile. They want to run with the group because they want to, show that they can keep up. But it's not about that. It's it's more about encouraging each other, right? Encouraging and never discouraging, uplifting people, and not like putting them down because they're maybe not at that caliber. Everyone has their own strengths and talents. So let's just find out what yours are and use them to the best of their abilities. Not everyone's going to run a marathon. Not everyone's going to do a half. But what do you want to do? What is your goals? And so we've had some of those that come in there and they're burnt out by mile one. It's like, you know what? Just slow down. Let's just have a conversation. You'll get there. Let's just take the time and do the right processes to get there.
That would be me.
Yeah.
100%.
But we would be there to help guide you. We always have someone in the front, someone in the middle, and someone bringing up the rear. So you don't feel like you're just alone in it. We always want to do it as a group, as a whole. So that way you don't feel like, oh, man. And I have a lot. No, just keep going. I'm too slow. I say it's not about that. It's about getting you where you need to be and finishing together. That's what makes a good win.
Well, you've just, I think, convinced me to
Good.
join and
Good.
and at least go through one run.
Yeah.
So for you, Robert, is there a running event or a race somewhere that you've always wanted to run that you haven't yet?
I know you don't know my backstory in there, but I did attempt Leadville twice, and that's the 100-miler there in Leadville, Colorado. Twice I didn't achieve it. I won't say I failed because there's always lessons to be learned. But the first time, I've got to mile 50, but I didn't miss that. I missed that cutoff point. Same thing in the second time around. Got to mile 50, missed the time cutoff. But, eventually I do want to do my 100-miler just because I want to prove to myself I know I can do it physically, just maybe not that particular race. Or maybe I go back and say, you know what, I'm not going to let you conquer me. But we've had some really great friends and great runners that just finished up Berlin Marathon. We have a lot of our Midland Run Crew members that qualified for Boston, and that takes a lot of time and dedication. And so eventually I would love to do one of the big races, whether I get there from, by supporting a nonprofit. I think that's still admirable, but even if I can get there because I've gotten faster and stronger, I'd just love to be a part of that just because it's so iconic and people, that's the height, the epitome of marathon running is to do those majors in New York and things like that. So maybe one of these days I will. Yeah.
It's called Leadville?
Leadville, in Leadville, Colorado.
Leadville, and it's 100 miles. Is it flat or is it hilly?
No.
It's everywhere?
It's everywhere.
Is it just running?
It's trail running.
Okay.
And so you're in the mountains of the Rockies and Leadville,
it's
Colorado.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So if at anything, you get to see everything at a foot's pace, and that's what I love. I mean, you can't catch it from the sky. You gotta be out on the trails, And the town of Leadville itself starts off at 10,500 feet, so you're already up there, which I don't know if you know where Guadalupe
Oh,
Peak
yeah.
is.
Yeah. You're out of breath already.
You're already out of breath, and then you take up, it's a 50-mile out and 50-mile back, so then you got to traverse up the mountain, which is peaks out at Hope Pass around 12,500. Go on the backside, hit the 50, and then do it all back in reverse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you stated that you say you don't know your backstory, so you didn't make it a couple times there. What was the one thing you learned the most about yourself for that?
Really, I think the most I learned is that I'm capable and I'm strong and I don't give up. You know, even though I didn't achieve at that particular time, I didn't give up. I still kept going. I just didn't meet those particular requirements. I don't think I have quit in me. I'll keep going until I physically can't do it. But mentally, I found out that I was a lot stronger mentally than what I was physically. And you can adjust that, you know.
It sounds like the style of leader that you are in saying that. I would have had a hard time. I don't know what age you were at that time, but when I was younger, I was a little bit more cocky.
Yes.
Than I am now, and I'd be like, no, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to prove all of you wrong, right? But I see that you have a way about you that, you know, hey, I didn't make the mark, but I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up. I think you said you don't have quit in you, stuff like
Yes.
that. Does that lean over into your leadership for the Run Crew? Do people look to you for that kind of leadership?
I would hope so. I think I do try my best to just to be positive, you know. I think negativity can just be a downward spiral. You know, you think bad about yourself. I can't do this. I can't. So you always want to try to reinforce yourself like I can do, or it's only, all these positive reinforcements. And so I think that does kind of bleed over into my leadership skills is just being positive, you know. Even if I have a bad day, I won't let people know it, you know, because I'd rather have a smile because smiles are infectious. And so I think if you put a smile on your face, you can make a bad day a good day. And just like with running, if you stay positive about it, you can see the silver lining. Well, I may not have got my time, but I still put in 3 miles. Well, I may not have been this fast, but I did this. So there's always a positive you can find from it, and you just got to shoo away from the negative.
I love that. And in fact, people that I've talked to over the last couple of weeks, when they heard you were going to be on the show, they were like, oh, he is so full of energy. You're going to love him. He's got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And you just said those things. So there are people who do believe that
Well, good.
about you. And I think one other thing that people have shared that I want to touch on is your community involvement. I
Okay.
know that you love nonprofits. You love the community. You have the water station
Yes.
that people can support. How else are you, as Robert Gomez, how are you involved in the community? And second, how is the Run Crew involved in the community?
Well, for myself, you know, I guess I have a servant heart. I mean, I think I told you I served there at Stonegate. I'm part of the greeting team, so that's another way I give back. And it's a simple holding of the doors, right? Welcoming people to the church. And it's just a good way to interact with people on a day-to-day. But as far as me giving back, I mean, we did some work with Senior Life Midland. I love that organization. I think really the things that pull at my heartstrings is what I want to go and serve at. And it could be my knowledge, my time, even just some muscle around. I mean, that's what I want to do. We're about to do the Texas Size Garage Sale coming up. And it's just being on hand, moving parts, moving things around. So it could be something simple, or it could be something where like I'm a part of a men's study group where, you know, it's just interacting with things like that. So that's what I would be doing. But as far as the Midland Run Crew, that's actually kind of the heart of what I want this to be, is for us to give back, not only take but also give back. So we have our Keep Midland Beautiful site that we keep up twice a year, but probably more than that. But we do cleanups throughout the week. Try to. I mean, we run these streets, so we want to make sure that they're beautiful and they're kept and things like that. So as a community, as Midland Run Crew, then that's what we want to strive and do. Or it's helping. I think we did. Like I said, the Meals on Wheels that morning, and just, I mean, I'm putting food together just for some seniors to actually have a decent meal. And there's so many people within the group that has a caring heart. They don't care where it's at. They just want to find that place and give back and to make them feel a part of it. Yeah.
I appreciate your leadership in the community, and when I hear things or I see something on LinkedIn or Instagram or something, it's like this event, like Tall City Brewery has the run, and then there's something else and there's a run involved. So I appreciate how you tie those together and support that together. What's the end goal for the Run Crew? Like how many runners is it when we get to that number we're going to be satisfied, or when we get everybody running the number of miles and time that they want?
Yeah.
What's that? How do you measure the success of the Run Crew?
You know, I think for me, I think how I measure success for the Run Crew is just people showing up. You know, I mean, there's been days when we first started this thing, I try to stay consistent with the schedules, track Tuesday, 6 before 6 on Thursday, long run on Saturdays. Even if it was just one person that showed up, that's a win, right? Not everyone's going to show up. There's life happens, things like that. But where I eventually want to see it is that we, just have different groups that pop up. I mean, even within our Run Crew group, we have some that wanted to do the MS 150. So we had a small group that went and did that. They're still a part of Midland Run Crew, but they wanted to venture off and do cycling. We had one that did some Ironman. So even within that, I want them to grow, not just Midland Run Crew, but them to grow as an individual to achieve whatever they, and then still be able to call this home, and home meaning Midland Run Crew, that you can always come back and find a good run, a good event to join in. I mean, even like Centennial Park, that one's really great because we do that once a month, and kids are involved. It gets people outside. It gets moms and dads together. And so that, I think, just having that family orientation with a lot of our events that we do, and then a lot of them, they're free. So it's like, okay, you don't even have to pay for this. Just show up and do the work and just have fun. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite running movie?
Oh my gosh, yes. So McFarlane USA.
Yes,
Oh,
love
I
that
love
movie.
that movie. I
Yes.
just here recently I've been
Yes,
seeing
Kevin
a lot-
Costner.
Kevin Costner, but
Yeah.
my favorite scene, and you've probably seen all the memes, but like, that's not Danny Sanchez. That's not Danny Sanchez. Because I see myself as Danny Sanchez, just like being that one that, he's not going to give up. Like I was mentioning,
Right.
he doesn't give up, and he got there for the team. And did I cry? Yes, I did.
Oh, I cried in that movie
it's such
too,
a
yeah.
good movie. And then what I love about it is just the way they pan back to the original, what the movie was about, and the real life people that did that.
High school in Palo Alto.
Yes.
That did that. Yeah. Yeah, that Danny Sanchez
Oh,
clip.
yes.
I used to watch that movie on stop down.
Uh-huh.
Like it would be, I would record it, and then I would watch it. My kids are walking in going, he's watching McFarlane again. He's watching McFarlane again. It was a great movie. What other movies kind of inspire you from running? And don't say Forrest Gump, because that's
No.
not really a running movie,
No,
right?
it's not.
Yeah.
If I had to think about that, other than McFarlane, I was trying to think of this other one that was really good. Now it's leaving me now. I can't even think
I
of it.
think McFarlane's probably the best one, or the
it's
one where they ran in the Olympics that with Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens is such
stuff.
a good one too.
Yeah,
And
I can't think of the name of it.
I think it
but
was just Jesse.
maybe it was.
I think
yeah.
it was just Jesse, but yeah, I love inspirational movies like that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be running, but yeah, McFarlane is definitely probably one of my top ones.
Yeah,
that I have.
my kids are going to make fun of me for saying the word McFarlane. They're going to like, there's another person out there who likes McFarlane
Yes.
besides you. So, if the Run Crew went away tomorrow, what would you miss the most about it?
You know what? The relationships. I think the relationships that I've built throughout this whole, since 2019, and look where we are 5 years later, and it's just grown. But those relationships been great. I've come into people's lives and met their kids and family, and it's just become more of just a running club. And even the new people who are coming in, they're finding their homes and things. So I think just having those relationships, if it ended, is what I would miss, because those interactions, early mornings, we're tired, 5 o'clock, but yet we're still doing it. Or late nights where we're like maybe, just having an evening run, or even during training sessions, if we're all decided we're going to go do this marathon, we're all going to train together. And so we're spending 6 weeks, 12 weeks at a time, just really, on a day-to-day basis, putting in work. And so, but there's just a lot of emotion and a lot of just relationships that are built within that time frame that you just can't ever take away.
It's crazy. I did not know the story how you just walked into the church and there was the sign that said Run Crew, but it was
Yes.
for girls.
It was for girls, yeah.
And then from that, it birthed, and you kept going, you kept pushing. I think that says a lot about you. Are there other projects that you might be working on? I know you're a community guy.
Yeah.
Is there some other things that you're thinking about starting or wanting to be a part of, or wish we had something like that here in Midland?
It's funny you said that, because I had been thinking, and it hasn't gone out for a while, but it's been a while back where I had gotten with Midland AF, and we used to do these fitness socials. And so I really wanted to maybe try to expand on that and maybe have a fitness expo. And so I've talked to a few people, and hopefully we'll go into the works in 2025. But we'll see where it goes. But I think I would love to have something like that. It's almost having the expo before the run, but just having just a one event type of situation. Utilize the Busch Convention Center for that. So we'll see. It's in the books.
I want to wrap things up. I appreciate you being here
thank you.
and spending some time with us. I think I'm going to
I hope
take the jump at some point. There will be a few people who will be happy to hear that and
Yes.
stuff. But I got to go get my Hoka shoes. I
Yes.
got to get the right running shorts and shirt and the whole thing.
The whole fit.
I'll have to wear something because my hair will get in my face
Yeah.
and stuff. So I'll get there.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of end on you. You're a man of faith. You attend church. You've had your life. You've had some ups and downs in your life. Who speaks into your life? We're sitting at this table. We're having a conversation. I'm very big advocate on we allow who we let into our life to kind of influence and speak. Who is it that you allow to speak into your life?
You know, honestly, my wife and kids. I mean, they speak into my life because they're my biggest encouragement. They support me through this whole endeavor when I was just putting money out of my pocket to make this thing go and buying stuff. And so even though we're like, oh, dad's going to go run again, he's, and I'm at different events. I mean, it's a weekly thing, like you said, do I have a full-time job? Yes, I do. That supports it. But I mean, they're my biggest encouragement. I mean, if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, because without their support, and to really show them that you can do hard things, and as long as you put your mind to it, you can get it done. So I hope that I am that person for them, and not just their dad of Midland Run Crew, but, a person that does hard things and doesn't let something just get in the way of the goals that they're trying to achieve.
I think it's a great parlay into that last question of what do you want to be known for?
I want to be that nice guy, right? That positive guy that, I really enjoyed talking with him. I really just interacted with him, the way he supported me in whatever ventures I was in. I think that's what I would love to be known for, just because I think that goes further than, monetary. It goes further than things like that where, it's an experience. It's a lifestyle. It's a situation that maybe we went through together. And so I hope that I had that opportunity to at least be impressionable on, a few of those people.
So what's the next big event for the Run Crew? What's coming up?
So what we got coming up, actually we have Energy City Race. So that's the biggest one that we got. This is the biggest half marathon in town. We actually host, or we do a training session, a 12-week training program free of charge. We partner with the Energy City Race. And I think we had 66 registrants that trained with us, and some of it was in person. Again, like I said, we had some in Odessa, some in Andrews that kind of just did it via the training schedule, but they would post on it. They would tag us, let us know how well they're doing and things like that. So that's the biggest one coming up here on the 19th. So I'm excited to see people cross the line because a lot of it's their first half marathon, and that's the reason why we get a lot of them. And I just love seeing that excitement, that emotion. Last year we had really great runners that it was their first time, invited their family, and just being able to celebrate that and cry along with them. It's it's such an achievement. And so to see this next group go through, it's almost like school, like class, right? To see the next class go through and the next class, and to see,
great.
And so that's how I kind of see it.
Well, I don't know if I can make that, but sign me up
Yes.
to join the Run Crew.
I will.
And I will slowly start working into that. You might see me that first run with a chicken nugget or something in my hand while I'm running because
we have incentives.
I used to walk at the mall.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff to kind of keep exercise, but I kept spilling my coffee, and
Yeah.
it just didn't work out
doesn't
so
work
well.
out.
But I'll give it a shot because
Yeah, we
I'm
love to
getting
have you.
older. I'm not getting younger, and I think the Run Crew, especially just to be around good people like yourself and
I appreciate
others.
it.
So I appreciate you for being here. Thanks
Yeah.
for giving your
No,
time.
thank you.
Robert Gomez, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining with us this week. I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe on all of our platforms. Big shout out to Second Story Co-working for the studio space. My good friend Chris on the controls, and we will see all of you next week.